Hey, how's y'all doing again? This is your host, the Whiteologist, Mr. Blow Your Minds, and welcome to Black Minds News Report. First and foremost, I want to say what's good to my fam? What's good, family? Subscribers, new. Welcome to the Black Minds News family. Passerbys, you happen to pass by, this is the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. Stay tuned and I will show you and prove why we are the most hated show in the corner of YouTube. But you can always go down the aisle. We always have a grand opening. Happen to see something that make you feel some kind of way. Remember, the motto of my show is the truth don't need no partner. So I was going through my daily searching for content for today, and I seen a story that seems to be kind of like they say, same old soup, just reheated. And then this story in itself is like stories that we always hear, but then I was kind of like, okay, there's kind of a twist to it. So let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about here. See this story here? It says, woman falsely calls police on black man using phone in Ravenna, says he was carrying a gun. Let me say that again. Woman falsely calls police on black man using phone in Ravenna, said he was carrying a gun. Now, you know, we done heard so many stories recently, I'm pretty sure, and we know in history, we have always heard, maybe not calling the police about a gun, but just the simple fact of using the police as a tool in their disposal, like breaking the glass in case of emergency, right? And it's kind of like a lot of things when we are dealing with all this oppression and white supremacy and discrimination, that people seem to know how to use the tools at their discretion when it's convenient for them. But at the end of it, when it's dealing with us, always a possibility in life and death. As you see on your screen there, you see the individual there. And we're going to go ahead and get into this because, you know, we just have to know how this goes down because it happens too frequent. And then there's a little history that goes along with this as well, of a situation that happened earlier this year, and I will touch upon that. But this story actually particularly started, I guess, in August 13th. The individual that you see on your screen name is Darren Cooper. Now, according to the story and the reports that I had read, talked about that was the first time he ever went into this area called RAVENNA. Okay. And obviously, I think he was a resident who lived in Hudson, and he worked for what they call the Summit County. And he was at Portage County Job and Family Service Building in the parking lot about 9 a.m. for some training meeting that he was supposed to attend. And so what happened, according to what they said in that story, they said that he had got to the building bright and early, you know, say the early bird catches the worm. So Mr. Darren Cooper seems like to be one of them individuals who like to get there first. So he beat everybody, even those who were working there, got there about, they say, about 8:47 that morning. So he was drinking some tea. Accordingly, the reports talk about he was talking on his cell phone. And all of a sudden, he started realizing that there was police vehicles started to come into the parking lot. He said initially he didn't think of it, he didn't think of nothing about it because, again, he said that the building that he worked in, the county that he was from, that police officers at the building was something that was kind of the norm. So for him as a black man, it was norm seeing police approaching in the same vicinity that he is sitting in. So he didn't think nothing was wrong about it. And then all of a sudden he seen a fourth police officer car roll in. And before you know it, comes to his door yelling, "Put your hands up!" Now, the rest of the story, we're going to get into because we got to get the backdrop to that, right? So, according to what the story talks about, it says that a woman, she had called the Ravenna Police Department because she was sitting, I would say, adjacent across the street, I guess was in eyesight maybe, that was at a dentist's office. And according to her, she seen a black Mustang with a gun. Let me say that again. She said she seen a man was sitting in a black Mustang with a gun. And so this woman, who they will not identify, and I guess at later times until the story develops even more, but the fact is the fact that she decided to call 911. And in the process of her calling the 911, she somehow, according with all this technology that we got today, she didn't leave her telephone number. Now, this is what the report is saying. The report is saying, here's a person that called 911, and that somehow they don't have her number to be able to identify who it was. Really? They must be in Mayberry, or this must be still Stone Age Flintstone, right? Because call ID, *69, you know, all them things that you could get that if you know, unless they blocked it, right? But anyway, that's what the story talks about. And so one of the things is that Mr. Darren Cooper, he has a concealed carry weapon permit, right? But of this particular day, Mr. Darren Cooper decided not to have his weapon with him this particular day. And so all he had in his possession was a cell phone. And according to reports that talks about that, he was just on the phone talking on the speaker. And so here it is, Mr. Cooper being the only black man sitting in the parking lot in a Mustang. He was like, he didn't understand how the caller would have seen a gun in his hand. Well, the fact is, she said a black Mustang, right? Black Mustang, nigga and a horse. You get what I'm saying? Subliminal racism, even though she said she never actually gave a description of what the individual, she just said a man sitting in a black Mustang. Now listen to this as I go on and talk more about this, right? And so here it is that he's kind of bewildered as to the fact that how is a woman who's sitting in a place across the street, she can identify the car, even though that the car that he had was a dark gray car. It wasn't even black, it was dark gray, right? In her conversation on the telephone, she never even described him as a black man. She just said a man. But I'm just going to say in a subliminal way, when she said black Mustang, the black was representing to you and the Mustang was the vehicle, but she combined the two by never really, identifying you, right? So she said a black Mustang, but never said the black man. And she did identify the car. Now, again, she was able to see the vehicle, didn't get quite the color right, know the kind of Mustang it was, and, listen till I tell you more about this. So here it is, Mr. Cooper's kind of, again, he bewildered his mind. He said, well, wait a minute. If you don't know the exact color of my vehicle, how do you know I have a gun, right? What was it about Mr. Cooper that from the distance that from where she was to where he was, she could be exact about the Mustang, couldn't quite get the color right. Somebody could be, farsighted, right? Colorblind. And the fact that, is there a difference between the dark gray and the black? It just depends, right, on your vision, right? But she couldn't get that right, but she was certain. She was 100 on the fact that he had a gun. So Mr. Cooper is kind of questioning this. Okay. So going back to the situation when the police came, now what they did, according to what they said, they used the word investigate right at the scene. Right now, again, remember they're getting a 911 call. Somebody got a gun, adrenaline pumping. You understand? They're getting there. They seeing him as a black man. Again, anytime the 911 is used and you are a person being BADOS as a black American descendant of slaves, and you got 1 horse, 2 horse, 3 horse, 4 horses, 4 horsemen coming with the sirens of the beast, right? This here is a life or death situation depending on what kind of soldiers is coming in your presence. Am I right or am I wrong? Right? And so when they did this investigation of the scene, they got him out the vehicle. Somehow they searched him, didn't find no weapons. They cleared the scene. And then afterwards, these police officers here decided to apologize to Mr. Cooper for any inconvenience and feel of threat of life that you might have been going through, right? But Mr. Cooper, he became very angry about this incident, and who wouldn't, right? Think about that. You sitting there minding your, MYOB, minding your own business, right? Talking on the telephone to whoever it might have been, significant other, friend, brother, family member, mama, daddy, whoever it could have been. And then you start seeing police cars pulling all up in the circumference of, your view. Alarm bells start going off. Uh-oh, what's going on here, right? So he felt angry because the police department ended up giving him the video of the incident. They had released it to him, right? But then he said something to the fact that he was happy to be able to share this story. Okay, and that's why we Black Minds News over here, we're going to share this story, because we have seen this happen time and time again. And that, again, matter of fact, as a reminder, you remember this time here to just even make a correlation to the story, and then we'll get back to this. But let's go back. Let's teleport back to a time in history that everybody, especially if those who are avid watchers here of Black Minds News, we touched on this story. But just to refresh, like say you got some gum you're chewing and they ain't got no more taste, you go in and get you a new stick to get a new fresh. Well, let me go ahead and refreshing that for you. Hold this and we'll be right back.
Please don't come close to me. Please take your phone off. Please don't come close to me.
It's a Central Park confrontation marked with racial undertones that's gone viral.
Please call the cops.
I'm going to tell them there's an African-American man threatening my life.
At some point, she decided that, I'm going to play the race card, I guess.
Christian Cooper, an avid bird watcher, says he started recording after telling the woman her dog needed to be leashed at all times in an area known as the Ramble in Central Park.
If the habitat is destroyed, we won't be able to go there to see birds, to enjoy the plantings.
When the woman refused, he offered the dog a treat.
The only way they can keep the dog from eating the treats is to put it on the leash.
That's when, he says, she roughly grabbed the dog by the collar, told him to stop recording, and called police, referring several times to being threatened by, quote, an African-American man.
There is an African-American man. I am in Central Park. He is recording me and threatening myself and my dog.
Though Cooper does not appear to move any closer to the woman, her call becomes even more frantic.
I'm being threatened by a man in the Ramble. Please send the cops immediately.
Cooper says he kept on recording because he had no intention of being intimidated.
I'm not going to participate in my own dehumanization. I'm not going to feed into this. We live in an age of Ahmaud Arbery where, black men are shot, gunned down because of the presumptions that people make about.
He stopped recording, walking away as soon as she leashed the dog.
Thank you.
Tonight, this woman, Amy Cooper, no relation to Christian, told News 4 she overreacted.
It was unacceptable. And words are just words, and I can't undo what I did, but I sincerely and humbly apologize to everyone, especially to that man, his family.
Amy apologized during our call, but also claimed that Cooper was screaming, that she felt threatened and didn't know what was in the dog treats. She says she regrets calling the police.
The police, I think of them as a protection agency. And unfortunately, this has caused me to realize that there are so many people in this country that don't have that luxury.
see that how that situation end up becoming in the ethers of situations that even law had become implemented based on what took place here. And we have to look at this because situations like this become dangerous when people use 911 as a weapon to do the dirty work which they hide behind. So we got to remember that certain ethnicities of people love to hide behind their jobs to do dirty work. And then there's certain people who understand that they will use that call to facilitate, and then it's rolling the dice to who will you be approached by. So we see in this situation that Christian Cooper was out there bird watching. Again, might be the only black man in America who was out there bird watching. But he was out there bird watching, and he had Amy Cooper out there with her dog, newly dog she just got. You can see the unruliness. He didn't understand, didn't obey, according to the reports when I had read. So she just got the dog. They took the dog back later after all the situation had came about. But we see that Christian Cooper decided to say, hey, just for rules and regulations and policies of how things operate here, you probably need to put the dog on a leash. So here she was trying to get the dog back on a leash. And somehow the situation turned where, because a black man is telling a white woman that you need to follow rules and laws, that she didn't like that. Right? What, a black man trying to tell me how I should operate? Wait a minute. Let me show you something. So what does she do? She gets on her phone. Now, using this phone in the 911 call can be used as a tool of a weapon to reverse a situation, to show some kind of power that one has, because you created the situation when you got on the phone and you said that you are being threatened by a black or African American. Now, that may sound soft when it's being said, but again, according to whoever was the operator on the other side, if she was of same ethnicity and race as the person who's making the call, it may heighten her to a sense of urgency that she feel like that this white person is in danger, right? Polypurebred, right? Underdog, polypurebred, right? Help, 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 right? And then next thing you know, what ended up happening is she's now have to relay her call from the message she got to now the third party, which is going to police officer. And the way she expresses and tells this story is how the urgency and the intensity that those who are coming on the call will be. And so as she's still on the phone, as we've seen there, we see the fact that she starts to get frantic and try to inflate or conflate the situation by saying that he's threatening me and my dog. Now, again, according to the story, it says that Mr. Christian Cooper decided that he wanted to what? Give the dog a treat, right? So that if that'll help you to get him on the leash. Now, so she frantically gets into the call. She makes all these statements. You know what I'm saying? And it was a whole situation that could have had just been avoided if all you had to do is like, okay, I'm going to put the dog on a leash. I just got him. Give me a little second whoop. It could have been over with. But it was the simple fact that a black man saying something to you in your subconscious mind of the position you believe, because I am white, that makes me in a higher echelon in authority and status in this country. So who are you to tell me? So I'm going to put the situation upon yourself, right? And so we see that Christian Cooper decided to keep the cameras rolling, right? He kept the cameras rolling because he said he didn't want to be intimidated based on the simple fact of what she was saying. No, Christian Cooper was keeping that because he needed that as a testimony. He needed that as an eyewitness because, again, you know how it is. Two black people can be together and be in a situation and it'd be one white person, two black people, but the two black people together will say in synchronicity as to what took place, but they're not credible because they're black. Now, if you got somebody else who is non-black, and then they said maybe there'll be some credibility to, according to whoever is going to be present. Now, some people will be disagreeing with that, but the truth of the matter is, we know that's how the game goes here. And so, what we don't see is the police ever coming. I don't know if the police ever came to him. We didn't see no videos from the police encountering him, and that might have been the difference of what could have exchanged through that whole ordeal. Because Polly Purebred was saying, I'm being threatened, a black man's attacking me, and I need help. And she's dialing 911, right? So we see that later on in the video, you see that Christian Cooper is talking about, here we are in an era where black men are being shot down. Talking about the Ahmaud Arbery situation, you know, and all the things that are taking place. And here you are using 911 as a weapon. You're weaponizing the 911. Not utilizing it for what the system say it is supposed to be used for, but I'm using it for a way to get at you, acting as if unconsciously I'm doing it. I'm creating a scenario that didn't call for it, but I'm going to do it anyway, right? And so what happened? The backlash because of what everybody's seen, everybody just say, hey, well, you know what? That could have cost you your life. Whoop-de-woo-woo-woo-woo. And guess what ended up happening? I'm going to use this to make a bridge to the story that I'm talking about, right? About the one in Ravenna, right? And his name happened to be Cooper as well, right? What's up with this Cooper business, right? Christian Cooper, Amy Cooper, right? Right? We got this other Cooper here, right? So here she is saying the things that she said, right? And then she gonna say that she overreacted. Then to make the situation worse, did you hear in the report and the video where it says he was screaming and she believed that the treat was trying to poison her dog? See, what is it that regardless to you being 100% wrong, you always trying to find a way to not be responsible entirely? You still trying to find a way, even as much everybody done seen it, you still, when you called in, you still had to say he was screaming. We heard him, please call the dog. Please call the cops. Please call the cops. Right? Is that yelling? Is that really that? Please call the cops. Is that really yelling? Ain't no yelling in there. Ain't no bass in there. Ain't no real volume in there. But you would say that because, again, you're still looking for sympathy. Polly Purebred. You understand? And so to say that he did say he was going to give the dog a treat, you even turned that into a weapon. You turned that and said he was going to poison your dog. How do you know he's trying to poison your dog? All he telling you to put him on the leash. But see, this is the psychology. This is the psychosis that a lot of them got. Dead ass wrong, as we say, dead ass, and yet don't always find a way to reverse it back on you, right? So let's get back to the story there, because right, remember that's the history that here, right? We've seen this before. So going back to the story again, we're talking about how the fact that this woman who calls, who is unidentified, they again giving her anonymity, right? She's getting anonymity about the situation, right? She did all this thing called 911. She not saying a black man in the vehicle, but saying a black Mustang. She got the color of the car wrong because, again, I think that subliminally she is saying black Mustang, meaning black is a man, Mustang being the vehicle, the car. She combined the two without saying that it's a black man, but saying black, but not identifying directly and saying that a black man. So, again, Mr. Cooper, he was angry about this. He believed that his life was on the line here. And that he believed that paying attention to details is the utmost importance when you're making a 911 call. Let me say that again. Is he right or is he wrong? Isn't he right when he says that when a person who is dialing 911, it is incumbent on you, it is the obligation of you, it is the law of right about you, that when you call that, you need to be having the utmost importance about how you're giving the details of a situation to be precise and correct. So here it is in the 911 call. And they try to say in the reports that the woman does not seem certain that what Cooper is holding is a pistol. Now, wait a minute. Originally say you got a call saying that there's a man sitting in the car that got a gun. Then later you want to say, she wasn't certain. What is that? That is the backtracking. That is them trying to protect, right? Huh? When we're talking about uncode, do y'all see the uncodeness that all of them will formulate to protect their own? Do you ever understand this? When they're in the wrong and it's 100% obvious what is, the rest of them will formulate to try to put a protection around them, right? So now they want to say, you weren't certain about making the call, but we ain't heard no 911 call, right? We haven't had the recordings that have been released yet. But then according to what is quoted that she had said, she said she really believed he was holding a pistol. At one point in the call. She even doubled down on that situation, said she was pretty darn sure it's a pistol. She doubled down. How can you come back and later say she didn't seem, that they said, well, in the 911 call, it didn't seem certain. Now you're trying to downplay the 911 call because we haven't heard that yet, but now when you write in the article, you're going to say, it didn't seem like she was certain. But then you got her quoted saying she believed he was holding a pistol. And at one point in the call later on, it said, I am pretty damn sure it's a pistol. And to prove that you could know that that was true, that when the police who responded to the call, 2 of the police officers were out there with their guns they were unholstered. Let me say that again. To know that what she said when she called the 911, just look at how the police officers responded once they got on the scene. 2 of the officers out of the 4 vehicles that came and approached Mr. Cooper, 2 of them came out of their vehicles with their guns unholstered. And you can see that in the police video, which they have not released to the public yet, according to what they say in the articles. So what we see is that this captain named Jake Smallfield, he became the spokesperson for the Ravenna Police Department. And he's the one who reviews all the videos from the incidents. And he's going to do his PR work by saying, well, everyone was professional during the incident. He tries to bring the situation down, simmer it down, to just check out the tip. A 911 call, someone saying somebody sitting in the vehicle and got a gun is a tip? Let me say that again. A 911 call, black man sitting in the vehicle, but they don't say black, they can say a black Mustang, but the car is a dark gray Mustang, so you mix black and Mustang to try to make it say she didn't say black, but you got a black man sitting in the car. The person on the 911 calls double down and say, yes, he has a gun, and the guns are drawn by 2 officers upon being responded, and the captain, Jake Smallfield, the spokesperson for the Ravenna Police Department, says they were just there to check on a tip. What? So his message to his constituents of his town, he says, we want people to tell us if they see, or in this case, if they feel that they see somebody with a gun. We will, of course, investigate all those complaints. Smallfield said. Now, wait a minute. You see how he's trying to be on code and trying to protect this individual? I don't know how big the town is. But he's trying to say, you know what? We don't want you to stop doing what you're doing. Right? Right? Even in this case, you thought you seen somebody with a gun. We'll come investigate. But do you not know that an investigation can turn deadly? We have seen stories where it has become deadly. And so here is Mr. Cooper, right? Mr. Cooper, he wanted to pursue charges. Don't you think he has the right that somebody is weaponizing and using 911, and then to say they doubled down and said they was for certain what they're talking about, and it comes to be incorrect, that it did not put Mr. Cooper's life in danger? So he decided that he wanted to pursue charges. Then they said that spokesperson, that Smallfield, said he did not plan on filing charges against the woman. Now, wait a minute. How do he get to deny what you who have went through the ordeal to do? So is it I'm white and I say so this ain't gonna happen because I have the authority to say yay and nay? Stay tuned. We're going to talk about that too because YouTube do the same damn shit, right? So here it is. He said that Cooper wanted to do it, but he was not planning on filing charge against the woman. He doubles down and says this. This is how you know this is probably a knit family town that they all somehow kind of related. 1 degree separation kind of shit. But anyway, he said, quoted according to the article that I read, said, we would not in any way try to discourage people from calling us with tips such as that. How is that a tip? A tip would be, I think that there's some kids hanging about in the back and then they may be up to doing no good. A tip could be, I see a woman who's staggering that's over there by the creek. A tip would be, you get what I'm saying? But a 911 man in the vehicle with a gun is not a tip. And you calling 911. Wait, went to the local non-emergency number, right? But that was for certain, right? Ain't that something? And then he goes on and says, we teach it in school. If you see something, say something. We rely heavily on tips. What does that got to do with the situation at hand? Mr. Cooper could have lost his life, depending on what kind of dice of the soldier police that come upon him and how he might have responded because of he didn't know what was going on, could have caused him his life. So to dial 911, one must be certain. And if not one is certain, then once you make the statement and make the call, then the consequences lie upon you who made it. But you see that the system will protect its own. Well, we can see that a woman can try to put her child into a school because she was homeless and use the babysitter's address and they try to lock her up for years. But you can almost get a black person killed on a gun and they say, well, I want to discourage the rest of everybody else from calling. We rely on tips. So what Mr. Cooper did, he went back later on and he spoke to Smallfield again. Right? After Smallfield had spoke to the recorded courier and Ravenna police has sent a detective to speak with the caller. Now, wait a minute. They go get somebody, they got a detective to go talk to her, right? To talk to her. He trying to press charges. You understand? Let Mr. Bloody Man tell you a story. Happened to me one time. I was driving in my nice, I had a Buick Unlimited Electra. Beautiful car. Old Skokie Raider, black and silver, crushed velvet seats, photo, Kennedy style. Kept it clean, white wall, you understand. So I'm hitting the street. And then the street that got a little merge on it. So this white woman hit the side of my vehicle and kept on going. And we right in front of the damn police station. Oh, she hit my car, me and, my brother was with me, and she just took off. Oh, he thought I was going to just let her go. Followed her. And followed her. She just kept going. We just kept going around. I actually seen somebody out the window out the other way. Hey, man, call the police. This brother hit and run. So I think he did. But he did. But so anyway, after going around so many times, see, he couldn't shake me. Went into the police station. I'm blowing the horns to make the cops come all out here. They come all out. Now all the cops see me. They come to me. They ain't, you know what I'm saying? See the white woman, they ain't said nothing. Hey, wait, what are you doing here? Hey, this woman just hit my car. She kept on riding. Okay, well, all right, we're in here, so, okay, well, wait a minute, can I see who it is? No, you just stay here, and they kept me, I didn't even get to see the woman, right? They did everything to protect this woman as if like I was in the damn wrong when all it was is you hit and run me, and that's a crime in itself. Was this woman drunk? I don't know. But they made sure to protect her and give me this bull with the information, the ticket and all this other stuff, and then got indignant with me because I was persistent because I think I need to know. How this mysterious stuff? Well, if you don't like it, we'll take and lock and he'll go to jail. What? Ain't that something, huh? But everybody love to be saying that we just be making up all these damn stories, right? So the same situation seems to be here to me, how I'm looking at it. That he wanted to press charges, but you see this person here saying, no, it's one of ours, and we're not going to do this, and we're going to try to keep the community encouraged to go ahead and keep doing what he classifies as tips. We teach it in school, and we rely on it, right? So later on, after he done made that statement, you got Mr. Cooper calling him again, right? And so he said that when the police department does not file charges for making a false report, the person has called between 15 and 20 times in a single night. Disrupt police service. Now they want to blame Mr. Cooper because Mr. Cooper is being indignant because he realized the possibility of his life could have been taken. And here you delaying what they say justice denied or delayed is justice denied. Here you is denying the fact that he's able to try to get justice and that he's got to repeat calling that somehow you're now trying to reverse the situation and make him be the bad guy because now he's disrupting police services. Huh? This is who y'all is, right? This is who y'all is. But we just a figure of our imagination, right? Just a figure of our imagination. We be making this some temptation. Just my imagination once again. Huh? Anyway. So, according to this Smallfield, he goes on to say that the Ravenna police have a standardized policy for bias in policing and are working with the Ohio Collaborative Standard for Police Departments in Ohio. Now, this supposed to be giving validation to the training that the police officers got and the people in the town. And in order for you to get this, to gain this certification, this is the policy that's prohibited by officers using, so that they don't use bias-based profiling and enforcement efforts. So what he's trying to say is, see, look, because my police officers are trained by this Ohio Collaborative, right, standard for police departments, that see how that situation worked? It worked. So there's no problem here. It's not like, again, but wait a minute. What if they didn't? What if they didn't follow suit and he's laying there dead? It'd have been the cause and effect because of the false call. Huh? Funny acting. Funny acting mugs, right? Matter of fact, let me show y'all something. Again, for those who are avid watchers over here. Have y'all been noticing that about the last couple videos that I done did that they put an age restriction on my videos? Did any of y'all recognize any of that they put an age restriction? You see that there? You see that on your screen? Should I go in order? Yeah, I can go there. No, go to the other one first. Go to the other one. Go to the other one. Is that one? No, the other one. Maybe it's the other one. No, that's not it. What's the other one? There you go, that one first. All right, so what you see there is that Mr. Blow Your Minds have been decided that they had put this new way to get in contact with YouTube. Since we want to talk about how white folks love talking about obeying policies, rules, procedures, and rule of law. But I'm just like you see the situation here, how it seemed to be, well, it's good for the goose, but not good for the gander. Let's just see. Somebody might hear me and think that, you're just being biased and bigotry because that doesn't happen all the time. I'm going to give you a personal situation. I want you to see with your own damn eyes. You tell me what you see. Now, what you see on your screen there, you see that it got a screenshot showing Mr. blows your mind. Now that what you see, you know, when you go into the search engine or go to doing the search references, you put in the name of the person you seek it, if you should know it, if you could spell it out, right? Now, as you see on your screen, it says, where is Mr. Blows Your Mind? Who is I Blows Your Mind? Now, according to MR, M in the alphabet is after I, correct? Is it not? IJKLM, right? So how, if you put in Mr. Blows Your Mind, how does the search engine show I Blows Your Mind? Everything, but there is no Mr. Blows Your Mind. So I even shrunk it down to something. I put it down to your right there. You see Mr. Blows, right? And you see I Blows Your Mind, Blowy Uppy, I Blows Your Mind Worker, I Blown, I Blow, right? What is all this nonsense? Where the hell is Mr. Blows Your Mind at, right? Right? Where is Mr. Blows Your Mind at, right? He sent me some cockamamie stuff, so I responded to them and I sent him this. It's very obvious that Mr. Blow Your Mind doesn't exist in the search reference. As you stated, the only way to find is by advanced filters. Now, wait a minute. They want people, what if you just came here for the first damn time? You know, some Mr. something. Even if you put Mr., you see nothing that'll even give you no reference. That is why I am the most hated show in the black corner of YouTube. You get what I'm saying? And so, if you don't remember how to spell it, that means you won't be able to find it. Correct? But they said, well, I spelled it and got it. What about the people who might have come for the first time and didn't subscribe and then thought about it? And man, what was the name of that? I know it was Mr. something. Look, if you start to even spell MRBLOWS, nothing comes up. I Blows Your Mind is going to go to somebody. Well, anyway, let me go and tell you the rest as I wrote. So the only way to find is by advanced filters or to spell Mr. Blows Your Mind out in its entirety. Now explain how I Blows Your Mind takes precedence over my channel, Mr. Blows Your Mind. Not I Blows Your Mind, to which this channel belongs to who? Maddie Crumb. Now, what does Maddie Crumb and Mr. Blows Your Mind and I Blows Your Mind got in common? Maddie starts with an M. You won't even see Maddie Crumb name in there, right? Her name is Maddie Crumb, right? So where is Mr. Blows Your Mind in the searchable reference? I've been on YouTube since 2012. Prior to 2018, you took my channel out of the searchable reference. Now explain how does all those references of I Blows Your Mind exist over my channel? When spelled in searchable references, you can see Mr. doesn't even show existence at all. If this isn't outright blatant intentional discrimination, I'm seeking for the return of my channel back in the searchable reference with no more excuses. Thank you. So you know what they do, right? You know how they play the game, right? So let me show you the next business, right? This is the next business. Yeah, this is the next business, right? So let me show the next business, right? So I sent them another one, right? Team YouTube has sent me back this, right? It says sometimes content doesn't violate our policies, but may not be appropriate for all audiences. In these cases, our review team will place an age restriction on the video. Here are things we consider when making decision to age restrict a video. Now, this is what this person who I tried to get them to identify. They want to all be in incognito and hide and do their dirty work, as that's what the slick one, the Satan one, the devil one always do. He hides, right? He hiding, right? So I said, sometimes. What do you mean sometimes? Now, wait a minute. Remember what he just said. Sometimes content doesn't violate. If it does not violate your policies, then it ain't broke no laws. But it may not be appropriate for all audiences. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. So if you have a job and they give you a handbook and the policies, anything that is not written within the policies and the guidelines then does not apply. Am I right or am I wrong? Right? So when you say sometimes, what kind of standard is that? No, this is white folks, right? What kind of standard is that? How about sometimes means this? You, the employees of YouTube, use your employment as a way to hide your true nature about how you feel about particular peoples. And will do by all the tools at your disposal to stigmatize and shadow ban channels because of not inappropriate material, but your own personal feeling towards a group of people and the content they choose to display as the truth from which they know. And because of your unmerited feelings, here's your opportunity to use it and say it sometimes violates our policies. But the truth is, from my understanding, those who are content creators supposedly in YouTube are partners. I bet if we was police, the police union would fight tooth and nail to defend their counterparts unless there aren't favor with them. Point taken. Right? Know where y'all at, man? Huh? Know where you at? Huh? Know where you at? Do I got another one? We got another one, don't we? We got another one. Right? No. There we go. Okay? Now remember, I just did this other video just the other day. The one with Daniel Prude, protest and police accountability, right? Law and order, right? They gave me that age restriction, right? So look at this. Is who hides behind employment and position doing their dastardly deeds? So explain how a channel that can't get 100 views has over 2,900, should be 30 subscribers, existed since 2012, and has consistently sought to resolve the blatant and constant discrimination by YouTube and its employees, can somehow keep getting a community guideline age restrictions and can't appeal because why? We all know why. Yet my channel agreed to my content isn't for children. So what would you call this? Only what it sees, huh? Only what it is. See video attached, right? So that's Mr. Blows Your Minds. You think that I'm not the most hated show on the black corner of the internet? You think that what I be out here talking about, it don't got no merit and there's certain people who don't want to hear what I got to say? Why is that? You better ask yourself, what is Mr. Blow Your Mind talking about that they trying to suppress his voice? They have no real, they don't have no real logical and can't even do it on their policies. Well, this ain't over, right? This ain't over. And I know you're listening. So, okay, it is what it is. You're showing who you say you are, right? We got to say, they say somebody showing who they is, you got to believe who they is, right? So, okay. So, just like the situation with Cooper, here it is, he gets to be the judge, jury, and an authoritarian, denying you the due process of what you claim that it's supposed to be for everybody. Truth of the matter is, it's always been two different laws, right? It's always been two different systems. But because we sit here and we try to tail it and everybody else want to try to make it seem like what we're saying is something wrong. But the evidence is always going to show that. The truth always going to be what it is, regardless to how you feel, what you think, and what you think you know. Well, you may not believe in spiritual things. You may not believe in that which created all things. But the thing is, it's going to manifest itself whether you take it or leave it alone. This is your host, Mr. Blows Your Mind. Thank you for clicking on the video. We have another channel, Black Minds TV, for those who want to help try to grow the other channel. They're doing everything to make sure to do it because, again, they've been doing it. And so if that channel don't get up, then they're going to say, well, see, nobody's really listening to you. 2,930 subscribers, can't get 100 views. Do you know I did a video, which again I will show later on. I had 239 videos done. Do you know what my subscribership was then? In 239 videos? 2,939 subscribers. I'm at 400 and something videos now, and I'm at 2,932. How can I keep doing what I'm doing and not getting some subscribers? And yet there's days I've seen when they get up to 12 and then they come back and then it's taken away. And then they want to make it seem like it's just a figure in your imagination. No, the only imagination is you. But see, it's not about that for me. What it is putting you on blast. It is putting you that when you stand before, when you got to deal with what you got to deal with, remember everything that you did. This is Black Minds News. Until the next show, y'all, peace, love, and wait, no, hold on. No. Give them one more, give them one more again, then we do it out of here. Check this out, y'all.